Hello, Packet. Thank you for traveling EtherChannel Airlines. Can I have your ticket, please? Thank you. Looks like we have you departing out of gate Gigabit Ethernet 1/0. Have a great trip. By the time we're done here, we will look at the default load distribution method EtherChannel uses and how to change it. The creative ideas I come up with. So I mentioned when we first got into EtherChannel about the algorithm that it uses. I said, you're not going to get perfect load balancing. Remember when I said that? You're not going to get perfect load balancing over these links because they had to figure out how to do it in the ASICs. So they didn't want to do packet fragmentation. That's taking a packet and chopping it up into exactly equal pieces and sending it across the wire because that would be too much overhead, right? It would take too much time. So what they did instead is said, okay, let's figure out a way of doing load distribution where, this traffic stream goes out that one, that traffic stream goes out this one. It's not going to be perfect. Let me show you what I mean. So first and foremost, the load distribution algorithm relies on essentially putting stuff in a blender that helps the algorithm that was written. Remember, again, the switches are computers. They operate on ones and zeros. They can't just be like, okay, you go here, you go here. There has to be rules to do that. So what they did is they came up with this formula that says, okay, we're going to put some stuff into a blender and it's going to spit out a value. And based on the algorithm, remember I said with EtherChannel, you've got 2, 4, or 8 links that you'll bundle together. So it's going to take some stuff, put it into a blender, and then the results of that blender will tell, let's just say it's a two link EtherChannel. It'll tell you which one of those links you're going to end up on. Or if you had a 4, it'll tell you. It's the way the 4, I don't know. I don't want to even get into the formula behind EtherChannel, but if you really want to, I'm sure you could Google your way away. The whole point is they have to use something that makes it unique so that it can decide whether to put you on one of 2, one of 4, or one of 8 different values and load distribute. So first thing that you can do is you can have the source something. That's what I have the source MAC address, the source IP address, the source port number. That's the stuff. So let me give you a better. I just jumped right into my blender and everything else. Let me tell you a little bit more what I mean. Let's say we've got this guy, right? And he's talking to that guy. The default on a lot of Cisco switches, and it's even different based on the model of Cisco switch in the iOS version. So I'm just going to say on a lot, not all Cisco switches, the default load distribution algorithm is the source MAC address, right? So what that means, let's just say this guy has source MAC address A, this guy has B. And we're using EtherChannel on all of these links, right? So they're all doing the bundle thing. So as soon as you go in, let's just say he's communicating with him. It's going to come up and it's going to go, oh, okay, you need to go, let's just say that way, if we ended up going that way. You need to go that way. And what link I'm going to send you on is dependent on your source MAC address, which is A. So A goes into the blender. Boom, you use link number 1. So this guy sending traffic will always go across link number 1. Link number 2 is idle. Now, let's just say we have another device here. He has MAC address C, right? He comes in and it's like, okay, throw you in the bundle. It spits out. It's like, okay, you get this one. So he goes on the bottom one, but he's going to go across the bottom one every single time. So here's what I mean. When I'm saying you're not going to get perfect load balancing, but it's going to be kind of close, is if this guy's sending a ton of traffic and this guy's not sending hardly anything at all, then you're going to have link number 1, let's just say, the top link, that's really saturated, and link number 2, which isn't very much saturated. You're still getting some use out of it, but because only that one computer is sending, you see what I mean, right? Now, if we use the source MAC address where stuff equals the MAC, right, then every single time this guy goes, he's gonna go across the same link, which, maybe it's a small network, maybe it's a data center network. I don't know. That may not be a good thing. So you might want to say, well, let's change it to be destination stuff. Destination MAC address, destination IP address, destination port number, right? Because that'll maybe you have you've got one source. Maybe this is the server that's hosting all of your stuff. This is what everybody accesses. Well, if we just use the source MAC address, It's going to use the same link all the time, no matter who it's communicating. What if we use the destination MAC address, where all these clients are different destinations? So when he goes out, he's like, okay, I'm going to that one this time, that one this time. So that's the stuff that goes into the blender that figures out what link you end up on, right? So that could be a good option. Or you might use source and destination plus stuff, MAC address, IP address, port number, right? Now, as I say all this, you get to choose one. You can't say, I want to use source, destination, MAC, and port number. Nope. Sorry. You got to choose one because we've got ASICs here. We're kind of limited with what's going on. And you might be limited based on the platform that you're using, right? So, I just dropped a lot of stuff on you on load balancing. This is one command. It's a global option on the whole switch. You get to choose which one of these algorithms you use. And I think what's going to seal the deal and help you understand it is, let me show you what I mean. Let me first off show you what I mean when it comes to, I'm kind of parked over here, the platform. So I'm going to move my console cable up here to this 3550 switch, right? There we go. I'm going to come back to the screen, bring up our console connection, and watch this. So I'm in on switch 3. Oh, I'm still in interface config. So I'll go to global config. Here's the command, the one command, port channel load balance, and I'll hit the question mark. Look at this. The only two options I've got on this platform of switch, which is a 3550, is you can do load balancing on either the source MAC address. This is, source plus stuff, right? In this case, it's just the MAC address. Or you can do it on destination MAC address, but that's all the options you have. Okay. Well, let me move my console cable down to the 3750 switch, right? Click. I'm in. Back to the screen. Enter a couple times. Get logged in. Global config. Port channel load balance. Now look at this guy. Well, look at that. I can do, does this help? Does this help, right? I can do it on destination MAC address, source MAC address like before, or I could do it on the combination of the source and destination MAC address. Or I could use it based on the destination IP, or the source IP, or the combination of the source and destination IP. But this switch platform doesn't support port numbers. Some of the higher end switch platforms do. The whole goal is for you and I to pick which one of these values will give us the most unique stuff. Cisco doesn't know your network. Maybe you've got everything going to the same destination. Well, destination MAC or IP probably wouldn't be the best algorithm then to give you load balancing, right? You probably wouldn't use source or source plus destination, right? So most of the time, the thing that's going to give you the most unique values will be source plus destination MAC or source plus destination IP, right? Because we're working on switches, most of the time I'd use MAC unless I'm in like some environments just have everything isolated in this little layer 2 domain and it's routed from the outside, so I might use IP. So that's why you might say, why didn't they just pick this for us? Well, the reason why is they don't know your network. They don't know if you have one device sending to a ton of devices, or maybe a ton of devices sending to one, or a ton to sending to a ton. So that's why they chose to let you choose what load distribution you would want to use. So that being said, coming back here to our network, what I want to do is I want to look at what the default is, right? So let's go back to our switch, and I'll type in show EtherChannel load balance, right? They've got a command just for this. Hit the enter key and it says, okay, right now out of the box, the Cisco 3750 switch that I'm on uses source MAC address. And maybe I'm like, well, that doesn't give me enough unique values for picking which link I'm going to use. So I'm going to go into global config node mode and say port channel load balance source dash destination MAC. Let's change that up a little bit. And that's literally all there is to it. The reason I separated this into this own video is because I really wanted you to understand the consequences of that one command. Remember, and the last time I'll say this, and we'll wrap up this video, in the world of network technology, and it's probably like this no matter what world you're in, it's not about the configuration. Know the commands. Yeah, sure, know how to, but that's, everybody forgets that. I'm going through this material right now, and I'm constantly having to refresh. What was that again? What was that again? Because You'll always forget the commands, but if you remember how it works, you remember the concept, that's where the power comes in. And that helps you not only in the Cisco world, but in the litany of vendors that you're going to run into in the real world. So know the concept. Commands, yeah, sure, learn them for passing an exam or something, but know that that's what reference books are made for, right? So you've now seen the load distribution algorithms, the default load distribution method on EtherChannel, which in this case is source MAC address most of the time, and how you can change it, again, global configuration mode, and it's going to be on a per switch basis. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.